What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of TCG Scrubs Podcast. I'm Oscar, and today I'm joined with the usual dudes, Colin and Joey. What's up, guys?
Hey, man.
I think I muted y'all too much in my headset. I didn't even hear what y'all said. But as usual, thank you to everybody who's watching and to anybody who helps support the channel, which you guys can do over at links in the description below for patreon.com/tcgscrubs, where our patrons get awesome videos that we try to upload as often as we can, gameplay at least once per month, depending on the tier you pick, and different cool things like that. Everything there helps upgrade the equipment, such as this cool microphone I now have, which helps me utilize the soundboard donated by Hooflung, another one of our patrons. And we're going to work on getting Colin and Joey one overtime. And yeah, TCG Scrubs, or patreon.com/TCG Scrubs. You find a link in the description below. Happy Little Hook Factory, where you can actually pre-order sets, boxes of the new sets that are coming up. One of the things that you can pre-order right now, I think Colin was mentioning, right, is Caster Chronicles.
Yeah, that's right. They have the new setup for pre-order. If you guys watch the news, you know that set's coming out and includes, or not includes, but they'll also have a new dual star deck like they did with the last set. So it looks like that might be a consistent theme where they come out with this sort of mini booster box with a dual star deck. So it's cool, it's easy, it's cheap. So be sure, if you guys want to support Caster Chronicles and want Happy Little Hook Factory to keep carrying it, to go and show your support over there, so they know that some people are interested in.
Yep. And excuse any audio issues you might hear. I know, like, that button push when I listen back to the podcast and edit it is actually really harsh when it comes back in again. Plus, Colin's fans are loud sometimes. But yeah, Happy Little Hook Factory, link in the description below. Also, is it Play DKP Accessories, where you can find those magnetic playmats that one day Colin and I will review and make a video of one of these days. And
it's literally all in Oscar's
there goes that button. There goes that button press again.
It's either that, if I do the other way, then Oscar will be like, "Wow, you're making so much noise," and I'll be like, "Well, yeah, but no one else can hear it besides you two." If I do it the other way,
do it the other way. That's fine.
Okay, I'll do it the other way.
I don't think I've ever complained about the other one.
I'm muting it now.
No, it's completely fine. I don't know what Colin's talking about. Anyways, so this week on the podcast, we actually had a few different things we were going to talk about. One of them is we brought back Ruler of the Week last week. We did, who was it? I forget. Fuji. Yeah, somebody forgettable. And then this week we'll be doing Atom. It was almost Loki, but Colin was like, no, we're not doing Loki. Apparently me and Joey would pick machines or something and think Loki was dedicated to machines.
It's the only way Loki's any good is the problem.
But I think machines are good, and then Loki has like 3 good cards, and so you just play machines with Loki's 3 good cards in it. It's all just good blue stuff. But Loki has some cool other stuff.
She sure does.
Anyways, this week will be Atom. We'll be going over that ruler and the benefits it has. We'll do that at the tail end of the podcast. The first part, we're actually going to go over some of the things that I was able to catch in Jeff's little Q&A he ran. Jeff, being the former global liaison who was let go from Force of Will when EG was let go. He did a Q&A on the Twitch channel for the formerly official Force of Will Twitch channel. I only heard about 40 minutes of it because I was driving from Colin's house back home. Colin will be doing a recap of that, I believe. I'm not sure when he's going to release that or if it's already out by the time this came out.
No, will not be out by the time this comes out, but it'll be releasing sometime later this week, most likely closer to Thursday or Friday is what I'm aiming for. So that'll be the full recap of all the stuff he talked about.
There you go. Roughly a week after the Q&A. And some of the things I guess we're going to go over is one, it was kind of a tease previously that they were going to do some stuff with projects, and they wanted to discuss them at a later time, and Jeff kind of confirmed it was a clothing line, not clothing line, but like clothes, as in like your characters would be putting on like sweaters and t-shirts and stuff like that, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh,
and explains why
cool.
Explains why they did the poll for what everybody's favorite rulers or characters were. Characters were.
Yeah. Why not do that? That seems like an easy avenue to make some money. It's something that people would want, and then it's a way to advertise the game because they're wearing your product around town. Because you would put Force Will on the back.
Yeah, I wonder if they will put Force Will logo on that.
Oh, 100%. I would want a Force Will logo on
I mean, we would.
I feel like they could make like super minimalistic like designs so you just don't have like a big, half naked woman on like your chest or something. Like like the back could be like a half faded out like Force Will star, and then like the front could be like a magic stone, or it could be like one of those like faded in ones though, not like just like slapping something on.
Well, we already know it's characters.
They could do a super cool inside joke one of like it just has like a line and lines right here, and it says the front just says "Measure me, I'm a ruler." Something like that.
Terrible.
That would be great.
And they would sell one shirt, and that would be the Colin.
Yeah,
he'd be the only one buying that shirt. No, I'd imagine just
those,
your basic T-shirts where it's like big old like Joey said, like having a girl just on your T-shirt or dude, whatever it is.
Yeah,
I mean, I also get what you're saying.
That would
like,
definitely be cool.
I would like something like where it's like a polo shirt with a small little like screen printed character right above the pocket or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
But honestly, jackets I'm sure could be cool either way, like a hoodie. That can go either way. It's not you're wearing those year round or anything.
Yeah, I would have loved that. That would have been super cool.
So another thing that they mentioned that they were working at, unless y'all wanted to talk about that more, I don't know if y'all want to anything else to say on it. Another thing they're working on is a board game with figures. I'm sorry, Joey.
I was just like, oh, if you guys want to talk about that, but no, you don't want to talk about it. Well,
it just kept David pauses.
Yeah. Like, was that? Did Jeff say whether or not that was like guaranteed to be a profitable venture, like, or was it like a risk that they were going to be trying?
I don't know. He just said
if they're worried about it being a risk, just sell it on Teespring like everyone else. Guarantee your profit.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know how that works. Like,
no, it was just addressing projects they were working on. He said this is something that we're working on together. And then later towards the end of the podcast, when I actually caught it live at the very last 10 minutes, I asked that question, hey, what was that poll for where you asked us who our favorite characters were? He said, I addressed that earlier. Just go back and look at it when I talked about our projects we're working on. When I went back to watch that section, it was about the clothing. So I was like, okay, that's what it was. So our characters would be put in clothing, and that's really all he mentioned of it. It's just that.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been really cool, I think.
Or
like more merchandising stuff for Force Will is always nice. Always be cool.
I mean,
good.
I would say based on usual poll results when it comes to favorite characters, usually like Dark Alice, Sylvia, or Lumia are near the top. Things like that. So you almost guaranteed to see those characters.
Especially, I would have loved not even I would have liked the T-shirt, but like little side stuff would have been great, like lanyards, dice or
dice bags.
Just like like any type of side product as well would have been really cool. Like, but even more like small things, like little tiny things that are cheap to make, but can guarantee a better profit margin and stuff like that. And I would have loved to get that type of stuff, especially like the lanyard and all that type of thing.
A wallet or something. I get you. Or even a phone case. That'd be cool. Get a phone case.
A little pop socket.
There you
with
go.
The Force Will symbol. Yeah.
Some other things that he discussed they're creating was a board game with figures. When he described it, it sounded almost like I don't know how many are familiar with the Fate Go card game they created, where it's based on figurines and the cards, and you kind of get they're like really nice painted figurines. Cause it's kind of like they're like figures with some cards, and you kind of do some interacting with them. But
It sounds cool, but
yeah,
I hadn't heard of the Fate Go board game.
Oh yeah,
I haven't either.
But anyways, so some along the lines of that, he said they're gonna test it and see how much interest there is in that, to determine how they're gonna sell it, or if they're gonna do like a Kickstarter type of thing where it's like a crowdfunded game, or if they're gonna just produce it and sell it on Amazon, so it's easier for people to get.
It does sound kind of like what is it, X-Wing or whatever, where it has the cards that attach to the ships or whatever, and then you do whatever actions based on that and all that.
Yeah. which is kind of how those figures work. They had little dials on them that determined like certain stats or whatever, and the cards came into play more than the figures.
That would be cool. Because I've always been interested in getting into miniatures games and stuff like that, so that would be a good way for me to try that out by doing something I know I like, especially if it's cards that use the nice card art and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. I'd be down to look into that.
Yeah, no. So he was vague about what it is, and I won't put too many words in his mouth, type of thing. But that's kind of what I'm assuming it's leaning towards, is like that fate, the way that kind of works. It's the way he made it sound to me.
I was going to like jump in really quick, and I was gonna say it would be really cool if they integrated cards from the actual card game, so that we could like slot those in, and they base their meta and like game around that. So like not all the cards obviously, but like if you have like Regalia or if you have like Master Runes, you can slot those onto your characters. Yeah. But the board game sounds pretty fun.
No, it would be cool. I think the main draw to this is going to be the figures, and I think they kind of know that like this is an avenue they can go down to help bring the figures, I think, to everybody, to where they open them up and get into everybody's hands. He did clarify it's not going to be like the ones where they gave away at Gen Con last year, where you had to like paint them yourself. So I think they would be detailed already.
Good.
But moving on to another one, which kind of brings up what Joey brought up, is like slotting those cards into that game. Is Jeff's actually working on a card game himself, which he announced there. It's not necessarily something that he's wanting to bring to print and have produced and everybody goes to stores and buy it. It's more something that he's creating to be used. I don't know if online, or maybe you could print them yourself. I don't think he clarified that. But he's doing it this way because he's going to just take artwork that he likes from other card games or fan art that's been created and just put them in place of these cards. Yeah, sorry, I don't know if Joey's background audio is too loud with that, but I know I can hear it.
It is.
And so it's something he was creating, and he is creating it in a way where you can slot in Force of Will cards, or if you play Force of Will, like I guess a casual format with friends, you can slot in some of his cards to perhaps Force of Will, which sounds pretty cool. Which he did say he gave me a shout out, which I thought was really cool. That me and him are actually working together on that because I'm helping him do the layout designs, which we're still figuring out, kind of how everything will look, while all the artwork will still look super cool and things like that. But
yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool and interesting. Like I said, it sounds like it'll be a game. It's just like a hobby game. It's not going to be like an actual official thing, but it still would be like something, Jeff's making it, so it'd be like a fun thing to play, both on its own and to slot in as like a spiritual, like expansive pack to the Force of Will game and cards and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool and interesting. What little I've seen from it looks pretty interesting. I'd be curious to see like what all is planned out that he has and everything, but I'm excited to see where that goes.
It sounds really interesting. Oscar, so like, are you doing this like? Did he approach you recently, or have you been doing this for a while?
He had made a post on his personal page, I believe it was like about 2 weeks ago. I think Colin remembers when, and just looking for somebody who would help, who knew design, who wouldn't mind helping, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And so we've just been talking since then.
Yeah, man.
Working back
why
and forth.
Why didn't you tell me this?
I guess I didn't think about it. I don't know why.
First time hearing about it.
I didn't realize you didn't know. But
I know. So I just added the loop thing. But,
yeah.
That is really cool though. I think I'll have to look into it.
Yeah.
You'll have to tell me more about it. Off the cuff.
I know he wants to print a small batch. He said on that Q&A where he just wants to set the minimum order quantity to a small printer somewhere so he can get a handful of cards. But I guess we'll see where this goes, because you never know. Like, I know his plans is like, hey, here's his artwork I want to use. But if something like this like took off enough to where it's like, it eventually became a card game. He either sold it or he worked on it, more seriously. Maybe it had funding and Kickstarter and all that, and like you reuse all the old mechanics into like newer cards with brand new art, and then it releases. Like, that's something cool. Like, I know it's Jeff, and we're all like wanting to see something cool come from Jeff because we knew the great job he did at Force of Will. So I'm kind of hoping it becomes something. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'll be curious to see what all comes from that, but that'll probably be quite a bit down the road before we see any of that come to fruition as well.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Another thing he mentioned in the Q&A was that, and I thought this was the coolest thing I ever heard. I heard this and I was like, God, that would have been. We really missed out. It was a box that was supposed to come out, and he said it was designed to have every ruler in Force of Will reprinted into it. The purpose of it was its main purpose was to reprint cards that had erratas or, where they had mistakes printed on them. They re-corrected them and things like that to get the correct text out to us. On top of the fact that the older rulers were supposed to have Energize going forward, and then the old rulers would have new frames, and the new rulers would have the old frames, kind of as a cool little art thing to I guess add incentive for us to want to pick it up. It would be all the same artwork though; nothing would change on that end. But I thought that was super cool. Like that would have been so awesome to see.
That's one thing I thought was super cool when I heard it, and I mentioned it to Melissa, and she even thought it was super cool as well.
Yeah.
Like, especially like seeing new rulers in the old frame and stuff like that would be pretty cool.
So old frame meaning like meaning what?
Like the before numbers were moved to the side and before things were shifted around. So like Alice cluster frames.
Right.
But
I was. Yes, sorry. Like one of the things I thought would be really cool when you said like older frames is if they brought back the full art stamp on the top left, for because I still always really enjoyed that, so I think that would be pretty
I
think
agree with Joey there.
You would need to watch that Q&A because I didn't make notes because I was driving. I'm just going off my memory. Mm-hmm. He mentioned another box that's Wanderer. Now, I don't know if it was this one or this ruler set, but ideas are still being tossed around. Nothing had been cemented and said this is when we'll release it. It's more like they kept delaying it. I forget the reason he said it was, but there's some design ideas of gold Force of Will stamps or maybe just the star and different things like that. Just trying to bring up ways to make the cards look a lot snazzier and things like that. But I agree.
See, that's super cool because you make a ruler box like that. In order for you to maintain the value and stuff like that of the rulers and stuff like that, you would make this box not cheap. You'd be like, hey, here's a box, has all the rulers, reverse things, limited quantity of however many, and it's I'm trying to think. I don't, how much would that cost? I would say at least they could easily sell that for $200 or something like that a pop. To spend $200 and get every ruler in existence in Force of Will, I assume minus Valhalla, and have them border switch so they're also unique looking in addition to whatever else they might do them. Not only is that's super, going back to conversation, if you guys want to stay tuned for the Patreon mini podcast conversation Joey and I were having, that's a good way for them to also make money because they're putting very close to zero effort. They're putting a 1 effort as far as they just gotta take the art and go zhunk behind the old border and retype the erratas, and then they just gotta send it to the printers
and box some nice little box to put it in, and then you're done. Just a nice box. It's cost them however much $dozen or whatever. They sell it for a crazy amount, and a la what Magic the Gathering is doing, and I would definitely pay for that I'd be like, all right, I'm not getting a booster. Well, I guess this isn't great for them, but profit wise it's better for them because I would get that over a booster box, which they make more profit off of that than a booster box. I'd probably still get a booster box at some point, but that's something that I would be interested in.
Well, why would you not get the booster box in this scenario? It was just rulers.
Oh, because if I have so much money to spend, and if I spend $200 on a bunch of rulers, I don't know if I would have money for another 100 for a booster box.
No, I thought you were just confusing product lines, but no, that would be cool. Honestly,
but I could sell some of the rulers to get a booster box.
When you said it'd be $200, I was like, whoa, I feel like a cheap ass based on what I was thinking. I was like, I'd spend $40, $50.
I was definitely with you.
Think of it this way.
No, I'm not paying $200.
This is how I thought of it. I think of it as if I go to TCG Player right now, and I go to, hopefully my fan isn't too loud. It's going to be super loud. Okay, now quieted down. Sorry. Go to Force of Will. Actually, I don't know how I'll do this. Can I click on yes, I can't click on just rulers. Card type ruler. Search.
You know, it's very telling that Colin goes to TCG Player instead of like Happy Little Flag.
Yeah, to be fair,
well, they have this stuff out there.
Yeah, they haven't updated with new cards, which I've noticed. Like, we were pitching
cards
for a little bit, which we were pitching for a little bit, like the newer cards and Buylist, but he hasn't updated that. He's on TCG Player, but Colin's supposed to message him. I don't know if he has asked him about that yet.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
not yet, but real quick. Oh my God!
Sorry for the barking.
Real quick, as a side note, while I was going through, I was like, oh, I forgot about it. 1 sec.
Super professional level quality podcast, guys. I hope you're enjoying this.
Hey, don't be too mean on him. Dogs are dogs. I'm pretty sure.
Dogs are dogs. He has 5.
Yeah, 5 dogs. Okay, wait. So I just want to make something clear real quick. Hold on. Sorry.
Oh, hold on.
Okay. All right.
So I went on here. One, I forgot about Ubers because I priced high to low, and I was like, oh boy. But for one example, because you said they're going to reprint the rulers with the proper energizers and stuff. Like right now, obviously you would have the original art, not this new art, but for the Ascended Prisha that has the proper updated text and energized, that's $50. For Ascended Alice is $75. For Imul, a correct actual printed Imul, printed how she's supposed to be, is $75 for her currently. And
you can't go off of those prices though. You're like for the stuff that they printed wrong, they're gonna.
No, that's the one that's like, printed right.
Yeah,
you can't say Joy. There's no access. There's no access to the Imul. This gives you access to the Imul. There's no argument you can give against that. Yes,
that's why they're printing them. But
in order to get Imul, Joy, you have to go and spend $75 right now. So for $125 more, for little more than double more than the price of Imul, for the price of 2.5 Imuls, you will get 1 Imul and every other ruler that's ever existed. How is it? This is the point I'm trying to get to. You're like, yeah, but that's why they were printing it, and I'm like, I agree.
Because
right now, without that box,
TCG
you're spending shiz ton of money.
Right, but TCG Player is not what you like. It's not a good price to set it on. Like,
that's the only price Force of Will has. There's no other price in existence yet you can use for Force of Will.
They don't acknowledge secondary market. They just create the product and set the price. Like if they set the price,
I'm not talking about that.
The only reason those prices are hiked up is because they were unavailable. You should check.
I don't care. I literally had just said, addressing you guys saying, I don't know if the box you're like, oh, I did low value. And I said $200 is a perfectly fine value-wise. And you guys are like, yeah, they don't care about the secondary market. I'm like, I'm not talking about the company. I'm talking about us as players. $200, I'm getting to IMU. IU is $42. So IMU and IU and one of the Ascended rulers is already $200. And so those 3 rulers you get in that box. So I'm saying this box is 1,025% worth it at $200. That's the only point I was getting at.
I think, like, realistically though, I'd spend up to $100 on it. Now, if I would spend $200, if let's just say they created 3 cards that were, the rulers in the box, one ruler picked for 3 different cards, right? So like whatever, and they made alt art versions of them. And when you bought the box, you got a little packet inside that had 1 card in it, and it was one of those 3 rulers. Like, I'd do that. That'd be cool. Like, to pick up a $200 box that had every ruler in it, and 1 card in that box was like an alt art version of one of the rulers that they created out of 3.
Well, see, it's okay. I'm not. Hold on. I'm not saying it's calling that you're wrong or anything.
Yeah.
It's because it's really hard to price out rulers. Like, even at $10 a pop, we have more than 20 rulers. So and I consider $10 ruler to be a really good deal. So
let me put this in better perspective. Let me put this in better perspective for you guys. You go and you buy a booster box for $100. There's roughly 100 cards in a set, and you're not going to pull all 100 of those. You have multiple copies of 5-cent cards or whatever. Okay, and you guys go and you buy that box for $100. You don't care. This at $200 would guarantee have 130 double-sided, high-quality rulers, possibly textured. We don't know, but and a lot of these cards were guaranteed before in the secondary market to be worth a ton of money. Some of these are hard to get, like the new Valhalla rulers. Some might be hard to get, well, maybe not anymore, but once upon a time Lumia was a little bit harder to get and stuff like that. For 130 cards for the price of 2 booster boxes, and you're guaranteed to get all 130, and they're all high quality double-sided rulers, I think that's beyond reasonable for the price of 2 booster boxes. Yeah. 2 booster boxes, you're not even guaranteed the full 100 cards that come in a set. And this one, you're guaranteed 130.
Do you think they would reprint the draft rulers?
I 100% think so. I would hope so.
I
think it'd be cool. And I mean, for your special promo card would be a reprint of the original draft ruler. The clockwork or whatever.
The little clockwork, dude. There's no reason not to print them. It's just extra value. But see, I feel like Jeff said that he wanted to do this to increase availability and increase accessibility, and pricing a lot of people out of this is against what
it's not the style Forceful would have had.
I don't agree that I still like.
This is also unprecedented. They sold for $50 that Magic Stone Lab, which was just a bunch of basic Magic Stones that were printed shittier than before,
which weren't meant for people to buy. It was meant for stores
for the price of. Yeah, but I'm saying I'm talking about for the company profit margins, and but for the price of 2 of those, you get way more cards, way nicer quality, and double-sided that actually have value on them and stuff like that.
4 of those, not 2 of those. They're $50 a box.
Yeah, I know. And you guys are saying you want $100 boxes, and I'm saying they wouldn't.
I didn't say that.
We have a reference point.
$130 box.
Yeah, we have a reference point.
It's just you can't lay down a price that.
You're saying you refuse to spend more than 80 cents a ruler is what you guys are saying.
No, I didn't say it. First of all, I didn't say that.
You said $100, which is roughly 80 cents a ruler.
You just think about Vingolf. Vingolf 3. The price went way up on the secondary market. That doesn't mean Vingolf 3, they should have sold it for an $80 box.
If they're having financial problems, I think they should have, if it meant that it extends the game life.
I was concerned we weren't going to have enough stuff to talk about today, but
we got off on ranting McRant.
I'm very confident that, some people would probably be upset that it's $200, but that would not affect at all how many that Forcible sold. Forcible guaranteed to sell them all if they priced it at $200. And people might be upset at $200, but the secondary market will fix that because it'll lower the price of rulers overall, which everyone will love.
Take out the rulers that are price hiked because of extenuating circumstances, like the 5 that you pointed out. Take out IU, take out IMOL, take out the 3 Ascended rulers.
Take out all the ones that work against my argument real quick.
Take out the ones that are unnaturally costed because they were rare, or IU was a 1 in 3 really rare box chance. I'm talking about talk about Fox. If Fox is Fox is $10, $15, I don't really know. But that's what the basic ruler should cost.
No, here's
how about 0?
Here's an example.
Fairer.
We got Lumia, just plain old normal Lumia. It might be 4. I don't know. TCG player's weird, but that's $20 right now. Rhea, the 4th daughter of Mikage, is $13. Joy doesn't allow Dust Girl. My 0, granted, it's the texture foil. Okay, I hate CFC. I guess it depends on if the cards will also be stamped or 4 is going to be a weird thing. I
just think we need to look at a normal average baseline for what these guys would cost.
Oh wait, no, Sherry's against your argument.
Lumia is still legal and played in Wander, right? So that's why her price is so hiked up.
No, Lumia is not. She's illegal.
Yeah,
she's illegal in every format. Yeah.
Oscar.
Yeah.
God damn.
I'll double check by pulling up the ban list, but no, I don't think she was ever.
Brunhild right now, very playable. $18 for that one. TCG player ranges their stuff weird, but Lucifer $13.
Yeah, Lumia is still banned.
Never mind, Lucifer.
Regular Zero, remember Zero 6 Ages of Light, at just for the normal, not full art, is $11. Freyla is $10. Isis is $16. A different Rhea is $10. I'm saying
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Close.
Yeah, if the box is priced at what you're saying is
$8.
it would give you more than your value's worth. But looking at it, if this ever became a thing, I don't actually see Force Will pricing it that much, especially with the mentality they had of making everything cheap and affordable and easy for players to obtain. I honestly strongly believe if it's not $100, it'd be less than $100. It would never exceed the $100. And I think your argument of if it was 200, your value is protected and all that. I get that. I'm just saying I don't believe they would have done that.
I think on the reverse side you got to think of is also perception. People, I don't think, would be happy if this set was cheap because that devalues all the cards they've been collecting. If someone just spent, like I just pointed out, $80 on an IMO or whatever, and then this set was announced and is coming out, and they're like, what, for 120? I would have dropped, if someone dropped $80 on an IMO, they were 100% ready to drop $200 on IMO and every other ruler that's ever existed. And so you got an angry player base, and a remedy to this that would maybe help you guys or make you guys happy and other people happy is to do this incrementally. So every set they release either a quarter box or a half box of the rulers and set that at $100. That way you're able to grab it, and then set 2 of it will come out.
I feel that happens all the time, if not in this card game, in other card games, where it's like, oh man, there's this one card I needed for, say, my commander list. All right, I'll shop the $80. Oh dang, Modern Horizons was announced and they're reprinting it. That card's going to be worth so much less now. People are going to get upset and leave the game over it. And anything else, you're going to... No, I'm not done talking. And if anything else, you're going to attract more players to be able to play the game, seeing that they come in and be like, oh, I can spend $100 in this box to get every ruler in the game. And I go look at, like, say, Wanderer format. Oh, dual stones are worth, like, 20 cents a piece. You know what? I'm going to come give us a shot. I'll come play the game. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get way more of that than the upset people. The upset people will be... there won't be many people, like, who are completely upset, distraught over it.
No, because there's 2 things you got to think of. One is that... Oh, shoot, what was my first point? You buy the box, and then it's... I'll go to my second point, see if I remember the first one. But you're thinking of it... You're going to get comparison to Magic, but this is greater. Magic is spending the $75, $80
I
on
used
just a normal
Magic
eyeball.
as one example. You can use any of the card games as an example. I just want to set that up.
I said my point is you spent $80 on an IMO, and then according to your guys' scenario, you spend the $80 and then you find out that that card is roughly 80 cents to buy from the box. Essentially, that's a stupid gap. That's a collapse. The secondary market. Oh yeah, my second point was that one of the main backbones of the game, with obviously exceptions, but as far as the secondary market, the backbone of the secondary market was for a lot of time the rulers. And you're saying to completely collapse that, and you're going to make stores not want to carry Force of Will because you completely collapse one of the big money makers, which is the rulers that are staples of the game. And what you want to do is price it so that people can get it, and it helps bring down the secondary market, especially for like new Valhalla rulers and the IMO
if it collapses
stuff. But
if it collapses the secondary market, I don't think $100 difference from 1 to 2 is going to protect it any more than it was before.
I think it 100% will, because that prices out of certain groups, and so once you do that, then the distribution gets smaller the higher the price point is.
And keep in mind, though, you spent $80 on an IMO in this scenario. That's still unique. The IMO reprint in the box has old borders to it. You know what I'm saying? So there's still a difference in the IMOs completely.
Yeah, but the reason this IMO is expensive and IU and stuff like that, it's just straight up availability. And so if you flood out that availability,
which is why it's not a good metric to go off of. But I'm just going back to my point. You can't look at Imul, who is completely unnaturally expensive and compare it to, like, a regular $20 ruler. If my ruler went from $20 to $10, on the secondary market, I wouldn't really care that much, especially if it brought more people in. But to look at cards that are just unnaturally priced because the market is ridiculous and because of extenuating circumstances, I think is a bad choice to base this argument off of. I do see where you're coming from, Colin, and like devaluing the secondary market, but that they shouldn't base decisions and like they should price this box to move. They should not price it to keep the value of the secondary market.
Yeah, but my last point is just like they shouldn't pay attention to the secondary market. What they should pay attention to is what customer reactions and store reactions will be, and secondary market factors into that at least in some fashion. You guys were talking about like how it's, Force was known for their cheap stuff, but 130 rulers in a set would be an unprecedented thing that Force of Will has never done before as far as value for bang for your buck. And so I think 100, they could do $100, but I think would be like unreasonable to expect and also potentially not good long term for the game. But I think there's ways around it. But it's still a set that they should do. It's still something they should do.
How many total rulers are there?
130.
Well, there's 130, and looking at it, if you remove alternates and reprints, it comes down to 119.
119?
Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
Over 100 is the main benchmark.
You would need, like, just to have each ruler be $5 a piece. That's still like a $500 box set, and that's ridiculous anyways.
Well, no, because some rulers are naturally, if you go, there's some new rulers that are naturally like 20 cents right now on TCG Play, or 50 cents, 80 cents. So that offsets, like you're saying, you don't have to be at $500 to make them average $5 a piece, because there's some that are so low, and then these are going to make it even lower potentially. So $200, $2 average, and then you smoosh that, cut that in half. That's a $4 to $5 average per cards that actually matter to be $4 to $5 per average, which is a good benchmark. It brings the higher ones down, and these ones, because of the uniqueness, up. So I feel like it would average, as far as market value, around $7 a piece across the spectrum if it was priced at $200. Is the point I'm getting at. Whereas you cut that in half. Or not necessarily in half, but percentage-wise around 30%.
We want to go ahead and wrap this idea up, because we've been really on this. We have 3 more things we want to discuss, including Ruler of the Week. But if you guys listening want to let us know your thoughts on what we just discussed, and maybe how much you'd be willing to pay, or how much you think the company would charge, let us know in the comments below. For those of you who are audio listeners,
everyone's
you can join us.
Disagree with me.
Yeah. For those of you who are audio listeners who want to weigh in, you can join us on Discord or even on Twitter. Unfortunately, on the Discord link, you would want to visit the video because it has a link straight to it. I'll see if I can share one of those on Twitter to get everybody over.
Joey sound like a super upset girlfriend. Is like, no, they will, because you're being super reasonable right now. They'll be able to tell how reasonable you're being, honey. She's like, fuck you.
So along the lines of what we've already been discussing, there was another set that's actually supposed to be coming out, or talked about, that was a Wanderer set, something dedicated to Wanderer, where it would give a lot of like fuel for when playing the Wanderer set, but not necessarily give a lot of fuel to what's in New Frontiers. I'm guessing it would cater to old mechanics. Like, I would be surprised if Six Agents got something, that it'd work with more. Another idea that he had for the set, which I thought was the coolest thing in the world, because everybody's been asking for these, is Ascended version of Rulers. One example he gave, and this is one of my favorite cards or favorite rulers, was Ascended Dark Alice. He said her stats are slightly buffed. I think she's like 11/11 or something like that. And her front side ability of tap or pay a black and remove a card from an opponent's or from target graveyard from the game would be non-chaseable. So you can actually remove something, and they couldn't, either bring it, if it has Remnant, bring it back to hand, or anything like that, or Remnant, play it again. You know what I'm saying?
They couldn't Spinning Aqua it to bring it back.
There you go.
Or they couldn't Power of Immortality it back.
There you go.
What?
I think. I don't know. Maybe.
No. That's not what you're thinking.
They actually probably could do that.
But it was interesting, if they had those 2 sets in mind, where they were planning on doing Ascended Rulers and having the Ascended Rulers reprinted in that ruler set, or have they cut on the ruler set with Energize and then ascend them later on? Like, what was the plan?
He didn't specify that. He just was talking about projects that they had that they wish they could have done if they were still around. There was no given dates. Some of these ideas could have been a year out, 2 years out, who knows? But it was just ideas that they had for these things.
I feel like logically it would make sense to put those Ascended Rulers in the set and then make the set play well with those Ascend rulers on top of that, you know? It's like a nice double whammy.
Yeah, it sounds like what I think it might have been a Patreon podcast. We had talked about this, like what a Wanderer Vingolf would be, like our dream Vingolfs or something like that, and one of them was a Wanderer Vingolf, where either you'd come out with a Vingolf and it's reprints of good Wanderer cards that are hard to get, or different things, variants like that, new cards that are specifically meant to support Wanderer, and then Ascended rulers for the 5 rulers that are inside the set. And it'd be this cool just like injection into Wanderer that would help balance it, help bring in new life to it, and just be this whole cool thing, and probably bring up some nostalgia for people who like the older sets or like Wanderer. Like, that would get me into Wanderer. If they got a Wanderer Vingolf, I would buy that, and then I would buy all their old sets so I could play some Wanderer.
If it was a 100 card set, though, would you still buy into it? Like, it was the actual booster box?
Like a booster box instead of a Vingolf, like,
because it sounded like
cards?
That's what it was. It sounded like it was actual booster box. Like the way he worded it, it sounded like it would be a set that would come out that you'd pick up, and it was just Wanderer based.
I would have to see it, because the thing I just said involved reprints, and I don't know if I like randomization of, like, I could get a cool new Wanderer card, or a Wanderer card that I have literally 3,000 of in my closet there. So I'd have to see how it's executed. I mean, alternate art, I mean, I'd probably be fine with it then, but that'd be interesting. I don't know if if it didn't replace a current booster box, I'd probably be fine with it, like an ancillary product, kind of like how Pokemon does ones that are still booster packs that are randomized, but it's a smaller set and it's outside of the main set. I think I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. Bring back things like Stealth and I think he said Incarnate and stuff like that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Especially like if the box played well, like drafted well, like inside of itself, or or played limited really nicely. That'd be pretty fun too, just to buy boxes for limited.
Yeah,
that's
it'd just be cool to see so much more support brought back to things that may have been forgotten, like Will of Hope and Despair. Dark Elves was one he mentioned. What? What'd you say?
Oh, I said we could totally pass on Will of Hope and Will of Despair.
Oh, I'm just saying things he had mentioned that it would help out. But Dark Elves, which I agreed with, he was saying Dark Elves kind of got the shaft of things. But another thing that they were... so another one... Okay, before I get to this next one, I'm going to let Colin explain this next one, because I think he knows a little bit more than I do. Or at least a better way of explaining it. But he did mention briefly, he said... if the company was to make another Vingolf set, never plan on it being like based on any IP, like the way past Vingolfs had been in some cases, only because a lot of the connections that the company had to getting those IPs, like say Engaged Knights and was it Valkyria Chronicles, were through EG. So the company wouldn't have that connection type of thing. So I thought that was interesting. The next one was plans to how this next set was going to be planned. This Valhalla 4 set, which Colin, I think like how to explain it better than maybe I do. Where what they wanted to do with the artwork and old cards and making them modern, right?
Yeah. So this is with the Valhalla set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the original idea for V4 that Jeff had done. So what we got currently was 50 new cards and 50 reprints is what we have right now. His idea, which was because they were having money things that they were going to do some sort of something with this set anyways to try and help save money. So he was like, why don't we do something that players would like? And it's funny because reading some of the stuff, someone had actually mentioned this as an option, and of like, oh, it'd be cool if they did this, and this was something they were going to do, which was take Valhalla, which was the three sets that were released that the U.S. pretty much didn't really see any of, or if it did, it was in really tiny qualities. Most players are pretty much unfamiliar with Valhalla. So it's going to take all those cards and the art, use the art again, and use the cards again, but obviously update it to look proper with the new set. He said update the stats so they're more in line with modern cards, and update the abilities when needed. So some of the cards are ridiculously weak, like it's a 4-cost 6/6 with swiftness, and that's all that card is. You would update that so it's a 4-cost I'm just. He didn't say this, but I'm pulling this out of my butt. Like 4 cost 12/12 with swiftness and flying or something like. Now that's actually super strong, but stuff like that. So it brings out the power level of crappy cards, brings down the power level of the super overpowered cards. So you got all the art. Requires minimal R&D because you're just updating stats. Requires minimal. We talk about this on the Patreon podcast. Requires minimal look into like lore and stuff because I had mentioned on the Patreon podcast is when you look at building a card, you think of the idea card of like, oh, I want a card that when it enters it deals 500 damage to something. And it's like, okay, so you have this base card, and then you think of what this attack and defense will be, and you figure that out and test and figure that out, what that might be. Then you figure out what the card art is going to be. I don't know which process, if you figure out what you want for the card art and build the card around it and then commission the art, or if you have the art and then build the card around it. Either way, because Force of Will likes their flavor type of stuff. So if it enters and deals damage to something, it's got to be like a flame-spitting lizard, or something like that. And then and then you figure out the name for it, and then the sorry, I don't know why my computer keeps freaking out, and then you figure out the flavor text for it, etc., and then it's good to go. These, you don't have to do that. You can literally pretty much keep the flavor text, maybe alter it slightly just to add even more flavor to it, and you're good to go. So he said he had all of that done. He had a full, I don't know if it was a spreadsheet or something, where he pretty much had the entire set planned out for V4, and they just decided not to use that. Instead did 50 new cards and 50 reprints, but originally it was going to be Valhalla, which would have been cool. Like I said, for people who weren't there for Valhalla, it's a cool way to get a taste of it. For people who were there, it's a nice nostalgia boost and stuff like that. There's pretty much no downside to doing that, and it saves them all the money in the world. Yeah, and it was already done. He said he already did it.
Yeah, no, because he said a lot. One of the most expensive things in the card game creating is the actual artwork itself. Like that's something that a lot of money goes into. But it would have been cool to see that happen.
Yeah, once he said that, I was super bummed out because I was like, that sounded like such a good idea.
Yeah.
But continue.
No, that's all I had on that. If we're ready, we can switch to Ruler of the Week.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Pick it up.
I exit out of the page.
So while he figures that out, for Ruler of the Week this week, we're going to work with Atom Seikhart. Now I'm going to go over his card stats just for anybody who's not familiar. Divinity 10, Judgment of 3, 2 whites and a void for that, Energize of white. When you flip him over, he is an 8/12 rabbit, and it says runes in your rune area gain quick cast. Whenever you play a rune, choose one, you gain 500 life, or rest target resonator. Or target J/Resonator gains plus 500 defense until end of turn. So it's, a few different abilities there. Now I know that this isn't the best ruler in the world, and I'm not gonna say this is like the crappiest one. If somebody out there likes them, I get it. You like them. There's like rulers I've liked in the past that sucked and weren't very good.
Oscar,
I wanted a lot more to come from
backhanded thing. What a backhanded
thing. But
if you guys like this ruler, it's fine. I've liked completely shitty in the trash themes too. I was used to be a crappy person.
Anyways,
so I've been where you're at now.
I'm not sugarcoating this at all. He's not great. In all honesty, when you look at these new rulers, like I get how it was cool to release 2 at a time, but one always outweighed the other. And only didn't have access to master runes of the other type of situation. Like Brunhild's better. Brunhild could technically run this master rune that he has and pay stupid costs for it, but it just doesn't have access to its main actual master rune, not chant/master rune. So it's this.
The only
ruler's
slight
not great.
exception is we're seeing a little tiny bit of back and forth with Lucifer and Lich as far as the dark rulers. That's the only little bit of exception right now.
Yeah, I agree with him.
We saw back and forth with Chimimi and Hanzo in like the very early days also, and I feel like we're seeing
yeah, I think we're still seeing that too with Chimimi and Hanzo. Like there's a back and forth of which one's better based on their runes and master runes. Yeah. I think the same thing like I think you're about to say is like with Loki and Arthur, but I think Loki is far superior over Arthur in its deck.
I was gonna say Loki and Arthur, but then I was like, it's really Loki and like Hanzo machines with their machine base. deck. But
but
Arthur
either
says.
way, Adam, it's not the best one. We were gonna do Loki, but Colin's like, no, you guys are just pick machines, derp derp.
Loki's too easy.
But we're gonna work with Adam. We're gonna see what we can do to make this better. If any of you are running Adam decks or hardcore Adam fans, again, apologies for any backhanded comments I may have said. But let us know what you guys are running in y'all's decks or what you think that if our picks are good or bad. So I picked one card because this was actually pretty tough for me. And so if you guys pick my card,
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do.
No, we even in the past done
I
three.
can go last. I picked 2 cards, so I can go last.
Okay, yeah, I was saying in the past when we used to do this, we used to pick 3. And for people who are going second and third, would pick 3, and we'd pick one that didn't get picked type thing. I'll go second then, or if I can go first, Joey. I don't know. I doubt you're picking mine. So
go first.
All right.
I'm pretty sure my pick is not what you picked.
All right. Well, I went ahead and went with his Master Rune, his newer Master Rune, a Traveler in a Sea of Clouds.
Really?
I was actually. Did you say something?
Yeah, I said really. Like, I think that card's so bad.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's bad at all. Like, I pay 1 and you're gonna draw 3 cards off of it. It's like that's not bad. Because your odds of hitting the same costs off of those cards is like slim to none. Like you're gonna hit the 3 different costs off of that.
The drawing's nice, yeah.
Yeah, I
but
guess.
I still think it's bad.
So it's like draw power. Draw like tap 1, draw 3 cards, and you're filling your hand up. Like that's I think something Brunhild wishes it could have. Like if you built a Brunhild deck inside of Adam with this Master Rune, and you're paying 1, and you're gonna draw potential 2 to 3 cards, like that's great.
It's called Messenger of the Sun. Also.
Yeah, and sometimes getting those to stick is an issue. Like, trust me, I've played you guys with that. You are like that's a main target for anybody, especially with the fact that it has addition hate on it. That's a pretty big target on its back.
It's almost like you play 0 to bring it back to the field or something. Anyways, yeah, Einharger's summon or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Just brings it back. Anyways,
but if that's the only humans you run, you even acknowledge yourself you wouldn't run Einharger's summon.
Yeah. And I kept it in my deck because it's that good. I think I did. I don't actually remember.
No, you took it out.
Anyways, no.
I mean, that's
right.
obviously.
Yeah, I know I'm right.
That's obviously a really good one of the only real good cards that's like Atom specific. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I saw this card and I was like, okay, the 1 cost is cool. It draws you cards. That's kind of cool. I like the idea of the 5 cost, but then I kept thinking about it, and I was like, man, top 3 cards in my deck is so limiting. Like, its Awakening is so awesome, but it just feels so weak. At the end of the day, I kind of passed it up just because I didn't want to. I don't know.
And I'm over here just reading the cards off. I guess for anybody listening who doesn't know what it does, or it probably won't even be on the screen. I don't know if I'll have time to do that. We're recording the podcast a day later than normal. Traveler in a Sea of Clouds is a 4-cost card, 1 white, 3 void, Divinity 2 Chant / Master Rune. If you're running Atom, then you can actually pay 3 void less. It says, look at top 3 cards of your deck, reveal any number of resonators with different total costs from among them, and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in a random order. If this card was awakened, you may put them to the field instead. The awakening on this is 2 white and 2 void, so a total 4 costs for an awakening. Which I don't know if I'd ever hit that awakening, unless it was like way later in the game.
I would try at least. Like, if I had the mana, I think I would, or the will, I think I would try for it. I also started thinking about like, I want to play Ushua, and I want to land him, and I want to land like Misty, and then Ushua brings in another Misty, and I was like, that's super cool. So I started thinking of that.
Yeah.
Like those kind of crazy, kind of mystery box-esque combos you could do with it. But
yeah.
So should I go next?
Yeah.
Okay. I picked a really lame one. I had 1 or 2 that I thought were interesting, but it's just, I don't know. Adam, I just feel like all of his choices for everything is bad. Like, I wanted to try and do some kind of synergy with his, gaining life, tapping a resonator, and, getting plus whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? He needs just what Brunhild has, and he needs just the base stuff. So I went with Messenger of the Sun, because if you're gonna try and use Atom to his full ability, you want Messenger of the Sun in there to draw you cards for all the runes you're playing.
Go ahead and read off Messenger of the Sun just in case.
Yeah, Messenger of the Sun is a 2-cost, 200, 400 human. Whenever you play a rune, draw a card, and you can banish this card, destroy target edition.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, you're probably going to be playing both him and the other edition hate, which takes care of like the sacrificial altar that's going on, and with hopefully Atom's increased desire to play runes, it makes this a better, like a stronger choice than in Brunhild. Maybe I don't really agree with that, but
it's not bad. I mean, you think about it. If you play even his master rune, and that triggers this card and that one, so that's 2 to 4 card range if it hits.
Yeah, or 1 to 4 card range, because you could miss with Traveler and the Sea of Clouds.
Then 0 to 4.
Yeah.
No, because you always get the 1 card from the messenger.
Okay, that's fair.
But and to be fair, Oscar, as you're talking about Traveler, I was like, oh man, if I had messenger, it could draw a lot of cards actually.
Yeah.
But
that could be a pretty interesting.
It's Messenger of the Sun. He's good in both Brunhild and in Atom.
Yeah.
Like Atom wants to be playing the runes because that's what his flip side does. So that's what I tried to go with.
Colin, what do you got?
So I have 2 different ones here. So I tried to think of like what you could use with Atom, because you want to flip him relatively quickly, because then he gives your runes quick cast. So you want a rune. If you want to run a rune, you want to run a rune that's pretty good. So when you play your runes, they have different abilities, and one of them is to rest a resonator. So I was trying to think of what would be synergetic with that. And so one thing I thought of was, or one of the 2 things is Ball Mug, which is a card pretty much no one plays.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically his version of Odin's Judgment, so potentially, because it's just a 4-cost chant that destroys all rested resonators. You don't have to worry about it being Ferris spelled or anything like that, because it doesn't have quick cast. But what you do is you just play some of the runes in Atom's deck. Maybe some of them are 0 cost or 1 cost, and you could just rest stuff on your opponent's field, not including any chants or abilities that you may be running that can rest stuff. And you can do that on your opponent's turn with your if Atom's judgmented. You do it on your opponent's turn, since they all have quick cast, so that you have the will coming into your turn to just tap 4 and play this and stuff like that. So I thought that it's a card that we never really saw any play, but could potentially see play, since Atom can work around stuff being rested, and so Balmug works really well with rested resonators. Even if you only end up resting 1 resonator, 4 cost to defeat a really powerful resonator that can't be targeted because it has barrier. Well, I guess you won't be able to rest it, but if it's already rested, then Balmug will get rid of it for you, because it doesn't target it, just blanket destroys rested stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting. I mean, I think Balmung is okay too.
Would you run him with Siegfried?
When I built my Atom deck, I did, but I don't know if that's necessarily good.
Yeah.
The other card I had, which I think would work well, once again, going off him being judgmented and having the resting mechanic. So you rest stuff, different things like that, is Arrival of the Hero, because Arrival of the Hero will now be a 0 cost when he's judgmented, and you're resting stuff for Arrival to now target and kill right away. So I think Arrival actually is super synergetic.
Wait, how does Arrival work?
Arrival is a 2-cost quick cast chant. If you control a J ruler, you pay 2 less to play it, so it's free, and you ignore the first ability. The second ability is destroy target rested resonator.
So this is something I brought up. You can't play that and rest something and then target it.
No,
this
he's not.
This isn't a rune. This is a chant.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He'd be resting it
beforehand. Rest it with other things.
Mm-hmm.
You play a rune to get back that Messenger of the Sun out of the graveyard, rest something, and then you destroy it. It's a combo effect, yeah. So those were my 2 choices, just playing off of him being judgmented and him mainly resting things for his ability, which could be useful. But yeah,
I like it. And I also wonder if anybody's approached Atom in the same way Brunhild was approached recently with like primarily black deck, ramping into cards and maybe taking advantage of like quick casting some of the runes that black has access to as a result.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's just I feel like all of the cards, all of the runes that could benefit off of being quick cast are already quick cast. So it just feels like
that was one problem I ran into when looking at Atom cards. I was like, oh, I don't want to put that in there because that's quick cast. I want something that doesn't have quick cast. And I was like, well, nothing that doesn't have quick cast is as good as this one because that already has quick cast and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Plus,
like,
if you want to play stuff quick cast, you're trying to go boop, 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 boop. But his ability only activates on his judgment side, so you need to wait till minimum turn 3 to flip over and then go boop, boop, boop. But that doesn't make sense because now you're playing slow in order to eventually play fast. So you got this weird timing thing in your deck.
I thought Atom Atom himself I thought gave quick cast, right?
Once he judgments, yeah.
It's only when he judgments the runes have quick cast? Yeah.
No Valhalla rulers have ruler side stuff.
Yeah, I know. I just was mistaken. I don't know. It's like
if he was a one cost that was kind of weak on the other side, but had barrier or imperishable and gave runes quick cast with almost no other abilities, I think he could almost be playable
barrier
at that point.
Barrier alone would make it playable. Like my concern about playing this ruler is like flipping over it to gain advantage from the rune thing, and then just being killed like a black deck. Like kill your J ruler, or even there's other colors now that have J ruler kills. You're like kill that J ruler. That's like the main. Yeah. To me. That's just the main concern. Like I'd pay the 3 to flip them over early.
Yeah. My concern is like they needed to print cards that that directly benefited Atom by being played on your opponent's turns. They needed like a 1-cost card that said during your turn give something +2/+2. During your opponent's turn deal destroy target resonator. And it's like okay, so Brunhild can't play this because it sucks. But Atom, when he flips and he plays it, now he gets to destroy stuff on your opponent's turn.
That's actually a really good idea of doing runes that did something like a halfway decent effect, and then it had a way more amplified effect on your opponent's turn, but they didn't have quick cast, so they're not dead cards because they're not dead cards because they work unlimited, that you can put them in other decks if they have a decent effect. But Atom amplifies it if he's judgmented, because when you play on your opponent's turn, you get a bunch of cool stuff. But it's in your rune area, so you can't abuse it too much. That actually would have been a really good idea.
It's the whole idea they had behind the chant/master runes, where other rulers can play Blade of Faith, but only Brunhild gets to play the real Blade of Faith, like the real good Blade of Faith. It's that idea of like your other rulers can play this, but it's way better in Atom, and it's like. It's what the entire idea when they did it okay, but it's what the entire idea of their trying to balance rulers was. Like Atom is a perfect example of a ruler that would have benefited from cards that specifically built him up that no other rulers could abuse and stuff.
Yeah, so. Well, they did that. Yeah, they did that with. They had the idea. They did that with Skyfall. Skyfall is a 1-cost chant that bounces something, but if you control machines, it now has quick cast all of a sudden. Like little touches like that, where a card is playable, works in limited, works in other stuff, but is miles better suddenly if it's in the correct corresponding deck. I think makes a world of difference. I really like that idea because I was trying to think of like what you could do for Atom that works with him. Yeah, and you saying like a non-quick cast chant that gets an ability on your opponent's turn is like. That's such a smart idea to do.
I'm so smart. Okay.
We should probably wrap it up.
Yeah, I think that's all we got for today. Again, let us know what y'all think. Maybe cards you would have added. If you'd rather weigh in on that box idea we had earlier, let us know then too. And we'll see you guys next time.